Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Shaquan and I'm the trading educator here at SLFX Trading. And what I'm going to do today is go over a winner that I've had on New Zealand dollar CAD. I had two winners and one closed profit today and the other closed profit earlier this week. And I'm going to go over the trade. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, now um, here on New Zealand dollar CAD, one thing that I noticed about this particular trade was that price is kind of going in a downtrend on the daily time frame. Now, keep in mind when I talk about time frames and trend, you may want to figure out what market cycle that the currency pair is in before you say something's in a downtrend or an uptrend. So let me explain what I mean. Let's go to the weekly time frame really quick, okay? One thing that I noticed about this particular currency pair just in this area, if I move my mouse going down, we are making lower low and lower high points, okay? Which lets me know this pair is in a downtrend. So this pair was recently just in a retracement mode, right? In a downtrend. This is not the uptrend, it's actually a downtrend. And now we can see price continuing in that trend continuation phase, right? So with that being said, that means that the trades that I was just recently in was the trend continuation trade and not the retracement phase or the current trend trade, okay? So that's really important to notice when you're trading, okay? Now, the reason why I entered into this trade is just literally solely based on trend alone. I get asked all the time, well, Shaquan, do you trade support and resistance? No, I do not trade support and resistance. I literally just trade based on price action alone, okay? So what made me want to get into this trade was I'm looking at the trend here. So let's go over it quickly and slowly, okay? I'm watching this pair and I'm seeing that in the retracement phase, it's making higher high and higher low points in the retracement phase, right? Until we get here, right there. Now, what price did right here was it created a lower low point. Now, I know some traders are going to say, well, on each time frame, price is doing something different. That's not necessarily true. It's just some pairs or some time frames. Let's say time frames. Some time frames just have to catch up, right? So on the weekly time frame, let's go back to that weekly time frame, right? On the weekly time frame, I got a bearish engulfing candle. That one bearish engulfing candle just already let me know about my supply and demand. It means that right now we're in a phase of supply, okay? Which means sellers are coming back into the market to push price down. What am I basically saying after this engulfing candle? What I'm basically saying is I need to see price stay below this particular price point in order for me to want to keep continuing to sell off, right? And what this basically means is this. If price can stay below, it doesn't literally have to just stay below and not come back across this line that I'm drawing right here. What I'm basically saying is I want to see price stay below this particular candle eventually. That's what I'm saying. Which means now when I get down to my lower time frame, I need to see evidence of that. So now it's going to be based on the analysis that I plot on my lower time frame. So let's go back down to the daily time frame really quick. Now, what this is basically saying is, as you guys can see, based on that line that I drew, I'm wanting to see price stay below that particular price point. Now, this is based on my exchange rate in this area saying this is where people who are, pushing the price down, my supply, right? They're pushing price down, which means price is too high. It's continuing with that trend continuation. I want to see it fall down lower, right? So at 0.86655 or 0.866 500 or 50, if however you want to say this price point, we need to see price stay below that. So I'm basically saying I want to see price react to this area here. I want to see react to this price point. So as you guys can see, when we got the lower low, this is where I'm expecting price to retrace back up into and show me rejection, right? So it's showing a lot of rejection here. Rejection candle, tried to push up, couldn't really stay above, close back. Though these are the confirmations that I'm looking for time and time and time again in the market, no matter what currency pair I'm trading, right? Then as you can see, what happens? We got a lower low. We have a lower high here. Now, what am I expecting price to make next? A lower low. Because now I'm expecting for trend continuation. And then we get it, and then we also get this lower high And then we get a lower low. Now this is where I'm saying, okay, 2 lower lows, 2 lower highs equals a downtrend. For us, trend continuation. Now I want you guys to put yourself in my shoes for just a quick second right here, right now. Imagine you are analyzing this price chart. Okay, I'm going to erase some candles. You're analyzing this price chart. Let's just say it's a weekend. And you're like, you know what? Hey, I like what's going on here. I see that price is making a lower low. I see that price is making a lower high. Matter of fact, we have 2 lower lows and 2 lower highs. Okay, cool. So what does this tell me for my next move? My next move should be trend continuation. I want to see price make a lower high. But before we make a lower high, how is it going to get there? Now, here's the wrong answer that some traders may say. Well, if you're trading support and resistance, right, let's put it on our price chart. If you're trading support and resistance, let's say they have support and resistance here. Let's say you have it as a zone, okay? You're saying, well, don't you want to see price come back and test the zone at support and resistance? No, I do not. This is not a support and resistance trade. This is a trend continuation trade. It's important when you're trading to categorize the type of trade that you're in. Because what I'm basically saying, if I'm looking for trend continuation, I do not want to see price come back to test this lower high. I don't want to see it come back up here at all. That's the thinking that I have anytime I'm trend trading. Okay? We have to respect higher highs and higher lows and lower highs as its own separate structures. Okay? So this is what I'm going to say, and based on price action alone, you know what? I want to see price come up to test my lower high. Not the top of it, but a certain area on my price chart. Now, let's say you use trend lines. Okay, I use trend lines. This is when maybe you can draw a trend line to gauge your trend, however you're going to draw it. Maybe I'm going to draw this three types of ways here. Maybe you draw it from your wicks. 1 point, 2 point, price is under. That's one way to draw it. I like to adjust my trend lines. Maybe you draw it from this point to that point here, your lower high points. Or if you're like me, you draw it based on a line chart. So I just know how to gauge it here. So I'm going to draw it this way. Okay? That's just based on how I draw my particular line chart. Now, what I'm saying is, okay, if price can show me evidence that it wants to stay below this lower high, if price can show me evidence that it's going to stay below my trend line that's helping me gauge the trend, I'm going to enter on the daily time frame. I'm not going to drop down because I enter on the daily time frame. You may enter in on a lower time frame as well. Hey, do what you need to do for you to get your entries always, okay? It's not based on how someone else trades. It's based on how comfortable you are with this price chart, how comfortable you are with reading noise on a lower time frame, okay? So now you understand now the area that you need to see price go to. If you're the counter trend trader, maybe you trade back to that point. I'm not a counter trend trader. I don't care to trade the counter trend, so I'm going to sit on my hands and wait. And that's what I did. And then voila, the next candle happens, and then I get this candle here. Now, I understand, okay, that's a long rejection wick right there. I could have entered the trade there, but I want a bit more confirmation. What I know about wicks is sometimes the market could kind of go up a little bit and give this swooping motion. If that's the case, I'll be in drawdown for 1 day, maybe 2 days, and then the next day price will roll over. I'm okay with waiting. So then the next candle happens. That's the candle I'm looking for, because based on everything that I just said to you guys, I was only waiting on a few things. Number one, can price action test this lower high point and stay below it? It can, and it did. Can price stay below my trend line, test the trend line, and stay below it? Yes, it can, and it did. Can price action confirm that I'm ready to enter into the trade? Yes, it can, and yes, it did. See, it's the questions that you ask, and when you stop and be patient to find the answers, you'll get your answers. It's the questions we ask that put us into a trade. It's the questions that we don't ask that gets us in trouble. Okay? So I asked all my questions. I got a yes, so now I enter. Now I use Fibonacci as well. So my first target on my fib is always back down to the previous low here. And then my second target, and let's pinpoint that out here, is also going to be my negative 27 right here. And then I'm in the trade. That's it. That's all I need to do. And this page is forward so you guys can see how the market went. First trade, 1, 2, 3 days. Second trade, the following day. And that was it. So I entered this trade here on February 13th. Today is February 6th. So I had to hold the trade for, February 13th, February 19th for 6 days, right? The first trade was 53 pips. That's really good for this particular currency pair. Then the second trade was right here. Okay, about 92 pips. So that's really good as well. So 154 pips, 6 days, only one currency pair. And I didn't do a lot of work, right? I didn't do a lot of work. That's the beautiful part about trading. We can enter and not do anything, right? So money made right then, right there. That's a good gain, okay? Now, if you're wanting this system, if you're wanting to know, okay, how does she use trend lines? I got a structure course for that. Well, how is she using Fibonacci for 2 targets? I have the same course for that. Well, if I do trade support and resistance, how can I use it? Have a course for that. And if you want to learn how to put the full system together, I have private client sessions for that. Okay? So, if you want this system, you guys, if you want to learn how I trade this way, without dropping down in so many time frames, without even being on a lower time frame, you guys, and still being able to catch the big movements, still being able to enter into multiple trades at one time, you guys, make sure you click the link in my bio. Okay? Gain access to the course. And if you say, you know what, courses are good, but I prefer to speak with you and learn under you directly, you guys, link in the bio, client sessions, coaching group, right there for you, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.